Welcome to our birth vlog. So it is December 17th. Baby boy's due date was December 10th. So he is very cozy and snug and doesn't want to come out. So we are going to get induced. I'll be 41 weeks tomorrow. So we are heading to the hospital. It is a little after 6 p.m. Our induction time is 8 p.m. So there's a bit of traffic right now. So we just want to get on the road, get down there. But we are super excited that hopefully within several hours we'll be meeting this little one that's been keeping us waiting for so long. I had tried going into labor on my own. I tried the curb walking, the red raspberry leaf tea, the dates, 2 membrane sweeps about 4 or 5 days apart, and then my doctor had me pumping. So none of that worked. So we're gonna go get induced. Just kind of don't really know too much what to expect. I've had a few friends get induced, so I kind of know their stories, but my doctor, it's a little bumpy on this road, hasn't really filled us in on much. I know on Friday, and today is Tuesday, so on Friday I was 3 centimeters dilated and about 70% effaced. So I'm anxious to see kind of like where my body's at naturally. But I'm gonna record as much as I can, show y'all our birth process, and then can't wait to have y'all meet him. So we're super excited, can't believe we're finally here. And yeah, I'll catch y'all with our next update. Just got to the hospital. We got Smoothie King. So that's the only thing I feel like I can stomach right now. And I haven't eaten all day. We'll see if they'll let me drink it. But I am so nervous. How you feeling? How you feeling?
Ready to go.
Let's go.
So we just got to the room. Got Rach hanging out.
Just got my IV.
Yeah.
Show him baby boy. Where baby boy's gonna go.
Got our Albie. Monitors. Got the warm spot. Bathroom. Sink. Little TV action. Super remote.
She said we hurry up and wait now. We have to meet the anesthesiologist, the nursery team, the providers, and then they'll come and do a cervical check. And because I'm already 3 centimeters dilated, they said I probably will not getting the Foley bulb, which I kind of assumed. And then I'm guessing in a few hours we'll start Pitocin.
Party time.
Alright, it is 10:15. We've been in the room for 2 hours now. We are still waiting on meds. We have to meet with anesthesiologist team. I can never say that word, so just ignore that. The nursery team and the providers. And then we will do a cervical check and then start me on Pitocin. I don't know what I already said. So I already had a feeling I wasn't going to go on the Foley bulb because I was already 3 centimeters on Friday. Anesthesiology team just came in. Registration just came in to get all of our information. So now we're just waiting on the nursery team and the providers. So me personally, I'm hoping we start meds in an hour, but it could be longer than that. We'll see. We got Hubs brought his computer, so we're watching YouTube. We got the Buttery Bros on. They competed in an Ironman. So if you don't know, Austin competed in a full Ironman. That video's on my channel, and then I did an Ironman relay. That video is also on the channel. So it's been fun watching that. Just hyping us up. So yeah, that's the update. Baby boy has been kicking like crazy. They said he's doing great on the monitor, and I can wear my own clothes, so I'm kind of happy I don't have to be in the gown right now. But yeah, we're just chilling. I think as soon as they start me on meds, they're gonna said they'll leave us alone for like 4 hours, and then I told Austin he then has permission to take a nap, but not until then. Any words, babe?
No. Yeah.
So, catch you in the next update. Alright, we changed into the gown because we did some ultrasounds and some cervical checks. So I'm about 2 to 3 centimeters, 90% effaced. so at least we're thinning out a little bit. Did not dilate at all in the past week or so, so that's okay. We were going to start on Pitocin, but now we are starting Cytotec. So I took that orally. They said they'll probably come check me in 4 hours for another cervical exam, and then probably start me on Pitocin at that point. So in about 4 hours, that'll put us at about 3:15. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. They said I should take a nap if I can, so I'm gonna nap. Austin just set up his little bed situation. He's so excited. So we'll see if we get any sleep. They said I could start feeling cramps in about an hour, so, but they said most people can sleep through that, so we'll just see how my body responds. And looking forward to meeting this little dude. All right, catch you at the next update. All right, so we shut our eyes for a good 5 minutes, and as I'm laying there getting ready to snooze for a little bit, my water breaks. So literally 10 minutes after the cervical check, so it was just a little gush, so they checked to make sure it was actually my water. It was, and then I got up to put like a pad on, and it's just been coming. So I'm gonna try to sleep through the gushes of water. It's a very strange feeling, I'm not gonna lie. But me and the nurse is very excited because hopefully that means now my body will start doing some contractions and okay. Did I leave off? The nurse came in. So gonna try to rest, possibly with these gushes of water, but what that means is hopefully contractions will start on their own. We just started penicillin since I'm positive for group B, and yeah, things are moving along. So I was mentally not prepared for my water to break on its own with this induction. I was fully prepared for them to have to break it, so I'm very surprised at how early that happened. But I'm gonna try to let Hubs go to sleep, and I'm gonna try to lay back and get some rest. Catch you guys on the next update soon. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, baby. Oh. Count.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. X. 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's a lot of fluid coming out, like a lot.
It's okay.
Oh.
It's alright. Shucks pad, catch it.
Oh.
Are you still cold?
Oh. Oh.
Just breathe it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 2, 3, 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go for it. Breathe on your own for just a second. Looking good.
My pad is soaked.
Okay. Should I get the super soaker ones? You want to do a new one? And go want me to just stop over here?
I'm gonna need new underwear.
New underwear?
Let's do another little cup.
We are out of underwear.
Baby, another one's coming. Babe. Oh. Okay. Okay. Oh. Oh.
Breathe, looking for. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Slow it down. Slow it down.
Babe.
Slow it down. You're in control. Yes. Breathe down. Nice. Inhale. 1,
Just like ramped up out of nowhere.
That's good.
Boy.
You're strong. You got this. It's gonna be a fight. You got it. Just stay in charge.
I think another one's coming already.
Good. That's nice. Keep coming. This thing. If babies wear up. Before the sun comes up. Huh?
Oh.
Alright, breathe. Longer inhale. We need more oxygen coming in. That was good. Nice. Full self breath. Really good. Really good.
On the way.
Okay.
So we're just doing something in one other room. If you, when you can, no rush. I'm gonna have you sit like you're sitting, but you're gonna be facing this side,
Okay.
so that they can work back there. You're doing a great job. We're gonna get you complete motion, but take your time. There's not a rush, okay?
Okay, so turn it off. And then, alright, not the best angle, so sorry this is gonna be crooked when y'all are watching it, but it is 2:30 in the morning, and I just got the epidural. So, last time stamp, my water broke. We were dealing with that for like 20-30 minutes. I kind of kept changing my pad and mesh underwear because it just kept gushing out and I did not like to sit in it. So 20-30 minutes go by and then I'm like, Austin, go lay it back down. I'll try to rest. So I shut my eyes again. Within 5 minutes, I'm awake because I feel the contractions. And I'm like, okay. I'm kind of noticing them. A couple more minutes go by, and I'm like, okay, this definitely feels like some strong period cramps. Kind of uncomfy. They said, if you want an epidural, like, go for where you can go for like another 45 minutes. And I'm like, these are kind of uncomfy. I'm already tired. It's midnight. Let's just call for the epidural. So we call for the epidural. Within me calling, the contractions intensified to an intensity of 7 to 8, and they were every 2 to 3 minutes. So my body just like kicked into gear. So a nurse came in, was monitoring baby. Eventually the anesthesiologist team came in, and they started working on the epidural. Everything got really hot. I started sweating. Contractions were coming every 2 minutes. But what a relief. As soon as that medicine kicked in, I didn't feel anything. Baby did not handle the epidural and how quick everything came on. Like, going from no contractions to contractions every 2 to 3 minutes and such strong contractions. He didn't handle it well, so they called like a code and everyone came in. They monitored him for about 10-15 minutes because his heart rate went down to 70. It's back up now, so now we're chilling. 2:30 in the morning, I think we're gonna try to take a nap. The nurse did a cervical check when baby's heart beat dropped to make sure the cord wasn't in front of his head, and I was sitting at 5 to 6 centimeters, and that was about a half hour ago. So hopefully we start progressing soon. It is no lie when everyone says the epidural is life-changing, because that was so intense, and now I don't feel anything. So we're gonna relax. I'm gonna tell Austin he can go back to sleep. I put him that 3 times, and then I woke him up each time. So, but everyone's been super great. I asked for juice. We just got some cranberry juice. I think this baby is gonna be here sooner than I guessed. When we got to the hospital, once we got checked in, what was that, like 8:30? I guessed he was gonna be born at noon. But since it's already 2:30, I'm 5 centimeters. Contractions have been pretty consistent. I think it's going to be here maybe sooner than noon, but regardless, super excited. Any words, babe, for everything that just went down? What do you think of that?
Yeah, that escalated quickly.
Mm-hmm. Tell us your encounter.
Pretty much everything she said. Difference is just watching it.
Yeah, he was like, what did you say? What did you just tell me? You're like, your water broke and you're like, contractions already?
Yeah, I was surprised at how quick everything started. I just thought it was going to be kind of more slow going.
Yeah.
It was just like 0 to 60.
And they said the cytotech is already out of my system, so that was all my body. And they're not going to give me Pitocin as of right now because,
No, I don't need to.
yeah, because my body's just doing its thing. So, pretty crazy how we didn't really need that much of an intervention.
Yeah, and it was definitely nuts when.
And when they called the code, there was like 15 people in here.
Well, not necessarily, but they preemptively were like,
Yeah.
gonna bring you over to talk
Yeah.
about bringing you over for a C-section.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
You're going to go sleep now?
Yeah, I'll try to take a nap.
There we go. Alright, catch you in a little bit. Alright, it is 4:30 now. At 4 o'clock, my doctor came in and did a cervical check. She said I'm only 4 centimeters, so a little different than what the nurse said at 2:30. But she said I'm contracting every 2 minutes, which is really good. We just need them to be stronger to help me dilate. So we are going to end up starting me on Pitocin. We just did that. It is 4:30 now. Nurse came in, started me on Pitocin. I'm going to get some Benadryl because I'm super itchy from the epidural. And then we got the peanut ball, which you can't see, in between my legs to also help move baby down and help me dilate. So hopefully we get some changes. And Austin's sleeping. I did get some sleep in between 2:30 and 3:30, and then I was too itchy and just couldn't sleep through it anymore. So I'm gonna let him sleep. That way he's well rested, and I'm just kind of chilling, taking it all in, and I'll update y'all with the next update. Alright guys, it has been an eventful few hours. It is 10 a.m. Let's see what happened. Around 6. What was the last thing I recorded? Okay, around 6 a.m. I got the peanut ball and my epidural stopped working on my left side. Super painful contractions. Intensity probably is 7. Nothing was working for the epidural to get back on that side, so that was a not so fun hour. And gave me some more meds in my epidural, and that helped. And then the doctor came in and had me raise up in the bed to do a cervical exam, and that got me instantly nauseous. So I've been nauseous for the past 4 hours. It's finally subsiding. Got sick. Pretty much just kept my eyes shut for the duration of everything. Talking to the doctors. Doc checked me. I am at a 6 centimeters, I think 100% effaced, and station 0. So I think baby boy is making his way down. I still have the shakes. My blood pressure keeps raising a little bit, so they're gonna check me for preeclampsia, and we should be getting another cervical check here in the next hour or so. We're back on the peanut ball since I can handle that with the nausea. They did bring me breakfast. They brought bone broth, an Italian icy, and black coffee, but that was right when the nausea hit, so I have not eaten anything. Been snacking on some ice chips. Austin went downstairs and got him a nice Starbucks coffee.
Oh, yeah, they're so good.
So I'll definitely be looking forward to that tomorrow. What else? Slight headache coming on, but I think that was just from sleeping on and off. So we took some Tylenol. Now we're just waiting for this little boy to make his appearance. Any words, babe, over the last couple hours?
Nothing too crazy.
No.
Mm.
It's funny, I was telling him how it goes from 0 to 60 real quick. Like, that's how my contractions were. And then my nausea hit, like 0 to 60. Couldn't function. So.
Big all or nothing girl.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's going to be how pushing goes. So, I'll keep y'all posted.
Oh yeah. Wave to the camera.
Alright, so we are way past our birth. I am currently recording this at 3 months postpartum. Actually, it's almost closer to 4 months postpartum. So, the last clip that you've seen, we were about to start pushing. So we had the camera set up to hit play, record when like Nash was getting ready to like come out, and that just never happened. So we did not pick up the camera again from when the last point you saw. So I have notes on my phone. So I am going to just use that. I was kind of documenting everything every few hours, and I'm really glad I have this to look back on because I do remember some things, but some things are a complete blur. So let me bring this up. So at about 10:30 a.m., I was told I was at 9 centimeters, but baby is still too high. So we tried a new position to get him lower. So at 10:30, we're at 9 centimeters. I text my family, I'm at 9 centimeters. I should be starting to push soon. We thought things were gonna start happening. That was not the case. 11:30 a.m., I felt more contractions. Intensity went to about 6-ish. We got more meds in the epidural. 12:30 p.m. comes around, 2 hours after I get told I'm at 9 centimeters, and they tell me I'm still at 9 centimeters, and baby is still too high. What happened was he was in, I think it's like station 0, so that's way too high for me to start pushing. Hi. So a long time we are stuck at 9 centimeters. It wasn't until 4:30 p.m. we get told I'm at a 10 and I can start pushing. So that's about 6 hours being between 9 and 10. So I start pushing, start doing the practice pushes. This is when I have Austin go like set up the camera, that way we can start recording. I start pushing, and all I remember is I am pushing so hard, as one does, but they said he's still too high, he's not coming down yet. So I end up pushing for, let me see. I'm pushing, they said my pushes are looking great, they're exactly how and where they need to be. So we keep doing that to try to get Nash to get lower into the pelvis, into the birth canal. So I do that for 3 hours, and at this point I start to kind of like going in and out of it. In between each contraction, I just remember like falling asleep and having to like be woken up to start pushing again. Like that's how exhausted I was. So I ended up pushing for 3 hours with 0 changes in Nash's position. We got a little guest. So the doctors and nurses told me from the start, like, how to prepare for what was going to happen. Is like, you know, when you start pushing, we let you push for 3 hours, and then past that, you know, you will recommend a C-section. So we get to the 3 hour mark, and they're like, you're doing great pushes. If you want to go another hour, we'll let you. Okay. Was that too close? Alright, you guys get me up close and personal since little one decided to feed. So, where was I? So they asked me if I wanted to push for another hour. They let me go 1 more hour before they would tell me I have to go for a C-section. So I look at Austin, he says I'm doing a great job and that I should try to push for another hour. So that's what I end up doing. But all I remember is I keep pushing. I keep kind of like taking naps, falling asleep. I don't really know what to call it in between each contraction, and I'm getting so tired at this point. Nothing's happening, nothing's changing. And then I just remember feeling like my epidural stopped working, and I just start mentally, physically losing it. Like I just remember rolling over in bed, and I'm just like, I think I kind of hit the wall. And at that point, I think it was really close to that 4 hour mark, and they're like, okay, you have to go for a C-section. He hasn't even dropped at all, even though they said my pushes were perfect, they were powerful, they were in the spot where you like needed to push. So he just was not coming down at all, which at this point I was 41 weeks to the day. So he's been cooking. He's getting big at this point. And I'll share how much he weighed and stuff at the end of this. So we go for the C-section, which Austin and I mentally prepared for. Like if it came down to like huge tears. And my mom, like, I guess was pacing outside of the room because she was like, it shouldn't be taking this long, like what's happening? So she knew which room I was in, and she was like pacing outside of it. And they're like, your mom's outside, like, do you want her to come in? I'm like, yes. And at this point it's 8:30 at night, and my parents have been there all day. My whole family's been there all day. So I'm like, they're not gonna be able to see Nash, visiting hours are over, because when my sister delivered at this hospital, visiting hours were over at 9. And I'm like, no one's gonna be able to meet him, like I've been trying so hard to get him out. And I was just like emotionally distraught. So my mom's calming me down. She's like, it's fine, you know, we'll get to see him when the time's ready, da-da-da. They have the nurses give Austin like his gown to start getting changed into. They start prepping me, taking the monitors off. And then they start wheeling me down to the OR. And at this point, I'm still just crying, and I'm like apologizing for crying. I'm like, I don't know why. I'm like, I don't mind having a C-section. But I was just so tired and so fatigued. I hadn't eaten anything. I had some water, and like that was it. So they kind of get me all hooked up, and I'm like, I'm gonna get sick. So one of the nurses has to give me a bag, which I'm kind of strapped in, so like she's holding the bag for me. And all I remember is repeatedly getting sick, and then also kind of passing out on the table. Like I would wake up and be like, okay, what just happened? Austin was next to me. So they start cutting me open to get Nash out. And all I remember, like I said, is I keep getting sick. I keep getting out of it, passing out, I want to say. And then I remember hearing them start pulling down the curtain and saying like, he's here, he's here. And I see him come out. I remember seeing how dark his hair is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he has hair. Like, that's what I'm thinking. And then I kind of black out again. Austin tells me at this point, hi, do you want more? Austin tells me at this point they put Nash on me to do skin to skin, but he was blue and not responsive. So he said once everyone was like, oh my gosh, he's blue, they quickly pulled him off me and brought him to the NICU team. At which point I never felt, heard, saw Nash be put on me. The next thing I remember is when I saw him come out, I was like, oh my gosh, he has a head full of hair. And then I'm like, I hear him crying. And I'm like, I think I either say in my head or to Austin, he's crying. That's good. So that's what I hear. They have Austin go over to be with Nash to like cut the umbilical cord to see him. And then they bring him over to me. And I was so tired. I remember I could barely keep my eyes open to see Nash, but I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no, I'm gonna regret this. Like, be awake, be here, be present. So I see him. They're like, okay, we're gonna bring him to the nursery to like check him out and everything. They're like, do you want Austin to go with him or do you want Austin to stay with you? And I remember just saying, no, go be with Nash. Oh, at this point, I remember again getting sick and just telling the nurses I feel awful about this, but I just keep saying, how much longer? This is awful. I don't like this feeling, because I could literally feel the tugging and pulling of what was going on, and I did not like that feeling. So I was in there for a bit, and then I remember they're like, okay, you're done now, you're done. And I was so hungry. That's why I felt like so nauseous. And I was like, okay, all I could think about was I can eat now. I haven't eaten in 24 hours. So I was like, can I eat now? And the nurse goes, no, sorry, you can't. And I just remember being devastated. Like, that was what I was so concerned about. And I'm like, can I at least have some water? And she's like, no, you can't have that either. And I was just like defeated, because I'm like, I just had the C-section. I'm starving. I'm thirsty. My baby's not even with me. So they roll me into recovery. And then this is where I find out some more information. Austin is still in a nursery with Nash. And they're like, your mom's still here. Do you want her to come into recovery? And I'm like, oh, yes. So my mom comes in, and then they let my dad in. And then he switches out, and my sister comes in. But all I remember is vividly just shaking off the bed. Like, I'm holding onto the bed rails, like the hospital bed rails, trying to stop myself from shaking, because that's just, I feel like I'm gonna fall off the bed. So my mom gets to stay the whole night. My sister and my dad and my nephew all go home, back to my house. And this nurse let me have food. So she bought me Jell-O, Sprite, and water. It was like a godsend. So all I remember is for the next couple, like an hour or so, I'm like just waking up, and I go to my mom, Jell-O, and she gives me like a bite of Jell-O, and I fall back to sleep. And I wake up, and I'm like, water. She gives me a sip of water, and I go back to sleep. And then the nurse comes in, like, to check on me when they bring me to the room, the recovery room. And she's like, okay, do you want to see your son? And this is how I know I was not with it. I said no. Like, excuse me, what? Like, I did IVF. I've been documenting this whole pregnancy. I've been waiting for this day for years, and I said no. So, like, I was completely gone. So Austin's like, yeah, that's definitely not her. Like, that's not my Rachel. So I don't see Nash while I'm in recovery. I remember bits and pieces of this, but my mom and Austin told me this after the fact. They were saying that because of how hard and how long I was contracting and pushing for, my uterus was like jello. So when they got into the C-section, my uterus was like so unstable, I lost a lot of blood. So I lost, I think it was 2 liters, and they had to give me ketamine to help stop the bleeding. So I was on a lot of meds, which is why I think I was so out of it. And I think at that point when I was like passing out and shaking and everything else. So that all happened. They finally brought me to my postpartum room, and Austin was with me at this point. He walked me to the postpartum room. Well, you know, they pushed me in the bed, and he's walking behind me with my mom. And then he goes and gets Nash, and he's the one who brought Nash in. I kind of remember that. I kind of don't remember that. I just know Nash shows up in his little bassinet, and then I hold him right away. So from the time I had Nash, it was at 9:32 p.m. I didn't get to see Nash until 12:30, so midnight. So I didn't get to see him for 3 hours, which when I watch other birth vlogs, I'm like, oh my god, like they didn't get to see their baby for 3 hours? That's crazy. But I was so out of it and not functioning, I did not comprehend how long it was until I looked back and seen the timestamps on the videos of me seeing Nash for the first time. So he was 8 pounds, 4 ounces, and 21 inches long. So he was my big boy. But once they brought him into the room, he latched right away. We did that. We didn't think to do skin to skin because, like I said, I was still pretty out of it. Mom and Austin were up for over 24 hours. So I kind of held him, and they shared the little like sleeper sofa, and they each took a little end of it, and they took a nap while I was on Nash duty. And then the recovery was rough. I was definitely in a lot of pain. When I was finally allowed to get up, Austin had to help me out of bed. If I wanted to move around in a bed, he had to physically pick me up to like scoot me up on the bed. But I was able to shower by myself, so that was nice. I just felt like I had no stability to stand up. So it was a quick shower just because I felt like I couldn't hold myself up. But I was able to do all that by myself. So I think that was really good. What else was I going to say? Oh, so apparently I had, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a short version of what this was called. Is like I had a choreo infection. I'm not really too sure, but I apparently had an infection in my uterus. So that's why they had to, once Nash was like resuscitated and good, they had to take him and give him a bath because he had an infection. That's like what the choreo is. Choreo. So I had an infection. So on top of the C-section, I had to be on antibiotics because of this infection I had. I don't know what that was from. I don't know if it was just from having the 2 membrane sweeps within a week. I don't know if it was just with something else that happened during pregnancy, during birth. But I did have this infection, and then it did get passed on to him. So we were both on antibiotics for the 3 or 4 days that we were in the hospital. So we did spend some time in there. But I will be having another C-section for next baby, whenever that is, because after pushing for 4 hours and he did not drop at all, I just don't feel confident that I can birth a baby vaginally. So that's kind of like future plans whenever that happens. But I think this took so long for me to record is because of how traumatic it was, which I don't know if I did a good job storytelling it. But in my head, I'm just like, I can't believe all this happened. And I think even the same with Austin, especially with him being a medic, he kind of knew what was all happening in the OR. So I'm just super glad that me and Nash are okay. And he is here, and he is thriving, and he is doing so well. And my recovery has been going so well. But that is kind of like my birth vlog. And I'm a little upset we didn't get like videos of everything else that happened after the whole 4 hours of pushing. But I'm also happy we didn't, because I feel like it would just add to like how traumatic it was, how everything kind of went down. But I'm sorry I didn't get more clips. My plan is to add like pictures of what we do have throughout the storytelling of the birth. And then looking back at the photos, I noticed like they had, I want to say like an air vent situation and that huge purple like blanket over me in the OR. So I have no recollection of them putting that on me at all either. So just kind of like things that were happening that I was just in and out of consciously while we were in there. So I'm glad we have like pictures and stuff to look back on, and Austin kind of like tells me things that were happening. But I wanted to get this out there just because I know people were waiting on it, and have been loving going back and like watching our IVF videos and stuff while having him. I think it's just to see like everything we've been through. So I just kind of wanted to share our birth story, our birth vlog. Please let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. I'll try to answer them. But yeah, we've been doing so well. We have been thriving. He is my precious little baby boy, and we are so in love. So thank you for watching. If you made it this far, thank you. And yeah, I'll see you hopefully in a next video pretty soon. I want to definitely have the camera out more. So I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.